Hey everyone, welcome back to Hacky Lessons. Today I want to talk about the Revolutionary Army as they pertain to the One Piece card game, now and in the future. So, and just a little warning that in this video I'm going to mention a couple of spoilers of things that have happened in the manga but not the anime yet. So that's going to be towards the end of the video, and I'll mention it again before I get into them, so just a heads up. Right, so currently OP05 is the latest set and the first to really feature a revolutionary archetype. There's been revolutionaries previously with the blue Ivankov leader, but that was more of an impel down deck. And we did also have a Sabo card in the last set. And I've really come to appreciate the revolutionaries within One Piece. Everything that we learn about the world government really puts you on the Rev Army side. Not to mention, Sabo is a favourite character of mine. So I was always keen to play the revolutionaries whenever they made it into the card game, which they have now. So at the moment, so far in OP05, I've mostly been focusing on testing and practicing my deck for Nationals, which isn't a Rev Army deck. But I have been playing Sabo and Balo Betty on the side for fun, and they are very fun decks. So after Nationals, I will probably make Sabo my main deck for a little bit until maybe Green Uta comes along. Yeah, the decks. Balo Betty in the hands of someone who's well practiced with her is very strong. And were it not for the existence of blue, I would say Sabo is pretty strong as well. He does get a bit underestimated, but if you build him right, he's pretty good. So with both Sabo and Balo Betty being in the same set, and each of them are half red, the majority of the revolutionary card pool is red. So Sabo, he does have a couple of black revolutionary cards he can access. They're, the Black Sabo and Dragonclaw. So that's nice if you like doing synergistic things, like using your one-cost Balo Betty to search for them. And, Betty, she only has red revolutionary armies that she has access to at the moment. There aren't any yellow in the OP05 meta at this point. So any yellow that you put in your Balo Betty deck isn't actually going to be thematic, but that's why her ability is the way it is, so you can make use of just generic yellow stuff. But at the same time, it does make a bit of thematic sense when you consider what a devil fruit power is. So she's basically, she waves her flag and sort of sways them to fight for her. So let's just say that Cracker is under her flag waving power. Why not? Yeah, so like I mentioned, there are blue revolutionary cards, but there's no way to include them in an actual revolutionary deck at this stage. Maybe someday down the line we'll get a red-blue Rev Army leader, that'd be pretty cool. But never mind speculating on that though, because we already do have a lot of confirmed revolutionary support on the way. So there is this excellent Sabo promo, and I'm not sure when we're getting it, but hopefully soon, because it's pretty good. Like, I'll definitely be putting that in both my Sabo deck and my Balo Betty deck. And then when we get to OP06 in a couple of months, there are 3 great cards coming that will make both Sabo and Betty better. And there's also this Raise Max dude. So he's basically the same card as the very expensive and sought out promo Gordon. So it's a very nice budget alternative there, plus he even has the film trait just like Gordon, so if you're running a deck that has a film searcher like Nami or Luffy, you can find this guy instead of Gordon. But anyway, halfway through OP06's meta, we're getting another Ultra deck, so that's one of the starter deck 10 was with the 3 leaders. And one of the leaders in this Ultra deck is a red-yellow Sabo, so very strong leader. And as far as wanting to building with revolutionary army stuff, perfect color combination, because he's got red and he's got the revolutionary army trait, so that means he has access to the 2 best revolutionary army cards, and they are Karasu and Koala. They only work if your leader is revolutionary army, and obviously they're red, so you need to be a red leader. And then the other great thing about this Ultra deck coming out is the yellow of it all. So unlike the last Ultra deck where all 3 leaders were red and purple, the 3 leaders in this Ultra deck are all different color combinations, but they all are half yellow. So that means every card in the deck is yellow, so they can work with all 3 leaders. And the cards are thematic to Ace, Sabo, and Luffy. So some of the cards in the deck are, Sabo related characters or whatever. So that means we have a few yellow revolutionary cards, and so that's good news for Bello Betty. So the Sabo SR is basically Thunderbolt as a character card. You got Eva, who is a blocker and that you can use to intentionally put a trigger into life, so that's good for Betty. And Flame Dragon King is a great card for Betty because it's an event counter and it lets you look at your life and rearrange it so you can know what triggers are coming up, what triggers are in there, and so on. So plenty of great support coming soon to the English game, and it's already in the hands of Japanese players, but just the other day we started getting a few OPO7 reveals in Shonen Jump, and that's what made me want to make this video, because what was revealed was a mono red Monkey D Dragon leader card. So that is the leader of the Revolutionary Armies. You might recognize that surname. He's related to a certain Monkey D Luffy. It has a pretty cool ability, in my opinion. Activate main once per turn to move up to 2 of your attached Don to one of your characters. I am uncertain if that means 2 from anywhere or specifically from the leader. That's going to depend on if the translation that I'm reading is written correctly. I can't say. I am learning Japanese, but I don't know enough to read this card completely. So anyway, for now, I'm going to assume that you can take them from one character to another, and that's going to be the ideal situation, because then you can attach to Karasu, who generally, if you have him on board, he's going to be the first person you want to attack, so you can minus your opponent's leader or character, whatever you're trying to attack. So then you can, move them from Karasu onto the next character. But, so as far as a deck running revolutionary cards that we already have seen, we already know, we've already got, this is a great leader ability, because most of the Revolutionary Army cards do have a base power of 5,000, and their abilities work when they're at 7,000. So if you play them in Betty, the leader ability puts them at 8,000. But if you play them in Sabo, you need to attach at least 2 Don to each of them to get the abilities. So the Dragon Leader is a nice kind of in-between option. So, and you got 5 life. So 2 characters are going to get the use of the abilities from one set of 2 Don, and you aren't losing a card in hand the way you are with Bello Betty. This leader is even better if you combine it with a card like Nami or any other card that has a similar ability to really maximize your Don. So you can pay whatever Don you need to pay for a character or whatever you play in that turn, and then you can use your Nami or whatever to attach those rested Don to something, to Karasu, and then you use your leader ability after Karasu's attack to take those attached Don and attach them to your next character. So that's really going to make use of the way the Revolutionary Army cards we already have work. But let's not get too carried away, because aside from the leader, we haven't actually seen anything else in red for OPO7. So personally, I don't like wasting my time theory crafting this far out when you haven't seen any of the cards except for the leader card, because it's most likely going to turn out that when the new cards do get revealed, they're going to completely blow all those ideas away. So what a waste of time. That said, there is something I do want to speculate about in this video, and here is where I give that spoiler warning I was talking about. So if you haven't read past chapter 1082, or if you're anime only, come back after you have, okay? So the Reverie, you may recall, was our first real chance to see the Revolutionary Army in proper action, like aside from Dressrosa. So that's where we met Morley, Betty, Lindbergh, and Karasu. But we only saw a little bit of what happened back then, and we only get the full story during Egghead when Sabo does return to Kamabaka Kingdom. So in chapter 1082, we meet 4 new interesting looking revolutionaries. So we got Ushihano, Ahiru, Gambo, and Jiron. So, we don't actually see them do anything, they just kind of appear for a page, and so, it's hard to say what their abilities are, but we've got this girl who kind of looks like a girl version of Kid or something. She seems like a cyborg or whatever. What they are is new faces that could potentially feature on some OPO7 revolutionary cards. Now, I do like that idea, but here is the thing about that. So Bandai have been excellent, I would say, for the most part, of not letting anything appear in the game that hasn't already appeared in the anime. So there's only one exception I can think about this, and this was the Alt Art King in Set 1, OPO1, which revealed his face way too early. It was ages after that it actually appeared in the anime, but otherwise they've been pretty spot on. So you think back, I was paying attention at the time, so OPO2 had hybrid Yamato, which had appeared in the anime by then. OPO4 had the hybrid forms for all the Animal Kingdom pirates, Kaido, King, Queen, Jack, Ulti, Page 1. And OPO5 came out after Gear 5 had appeared in the anime. So, Gear 5 is what OPO5 is all about. So, you can even go back to the reveals for OPO6. Japan has OPO6 now, but this wasn't revealed until like the week it appeared in the anime. We have cards for Adult Momo and the Tree Admiral dude, Ryokuku. And, talking about the present right now, so I'm writing this video, I wrote this video on the Friday, the 19th of January. I'm recording it now on the 20th of January. And the previous episode, so 5 days ago, the episode ended with us meeting Lilith. And I think it might have been the next day that we got the magazine reveal of the Lilith card coming in OPO7, the yellow Lilith card. So, the art of the card even features the only scene we've seen of her, introducing herself to the Straw Hats. So if you look at all the other reveals we got this week, they were all leader cards, and the only one, so we got Lilith instead of the Dr. Vegapunk leader because he hasn't shown his face in the anime yet. So I'm betting we won't actually see that leader card until he does appear in the anime, which might be in the next episode or the week after. I will actually mention that they did spoil one thing, and that is her name being Lilith. So far in the anime, she introduced herself as Dr. Vegapunk, and that's where the episode ended, so that's a spoiler. Alright, jumping back in now on Monday the 22nd, because I took too long to get this video out, and now some of the information I have just said is out of date. So the Vegapunk leader has been revealed now, and I love it. I might make another video just to talk about specifically that, but I've also watched this week's episode of One Piece, and the Stella did not make an appearance, so I was a little bit wrong on that front, but nonetheless, by the time this set is out, he will have appeared in the anime. He's probably appearing next week. My point to all of that is that if these new revolutionary characters are going to be in OPO7, they're going to need to appear in the anime first. So I had a little check about how that's going to work out. So OPO7 releases in Japan at the end of February, right? Now these characters, they appear in chapter 1082, and the latest chapter that the anime has adapted is 1061. So at this stage, I don't think we're going to get there in time. Potentially they could appear as support down the line, maybe in OPO8, but I don't think we're going to make it for OPO7, unfortunately, which, I started writing this video before I did the math on that. But I guess that does leave us with OPO7 being, for the most part, reusing characters we've already seen. And, that's cool because we can get like an SR Karasu or whatever that's doing a cool, pose he does. Or whatever. We get a stronger Kuma card, that'd be nice. But there is actually one revolutionary that, we've seen. It's been in the anime, but we don't have a card of, and that is Dragon himself. So there is a little bit of an issue that we've never actually seen him do anything, so it's hard to make a thematic ability for him, but you could make the same argument for Shanks. And jumping back in again, because they have revealed a Dragon character card, and it is pretty damn good. So he has Rush, it costs 8 on play. You give 2 of the Don that you used to play it to one of your other characters or your leader, and then you can use the leader ability to give them back to him, and you can also give those 2 Don to himself. Very good. I'm looking more forward to the revolutionaries now. And while I'm here, there was one thing I thought of after I recorded the rest of the video. They could do a new stage card for the Kamabaka Kingdom, because that's where the revolutionaries relocate their base after they lose Baltigo. So there's an idea. I don't think it would happen in set 7 because there's no way the anime is reaching in time, but they could do Ginny. Right, so rounding up with some ideas for some non-revolutionary characters that could be cards for the Monkey D. Dragon deck. Bandai could do something cute with Garp and Luffy, and there's a shout for giving the red deck a Dr. Vegapunk card as well, because he is friends with Dragon. So speaking of Vegapunk, we may not have seen his leader, but we have seen Lilith, and we know that Lilith is yellow, so we can assume that the leader is at least half yellow. So there's a possibility we could get a yellow Kuma card that goes for that deck, yet is able to work in Betty and the Ultra Deck Sabo, so that'd be nice. But we come to the end of this. That's all the speculation I've come up with for now, so do tell me, what would you like to see Bandai do with the Dragon deck? Do you have any ideas for abilities? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, it always helps if you can leave a like, and of course, subscribe if you want to see the next video that I put up, which will hopefully be a post-Nationals rundown if I do well, and that is coming up in a week, so practice time is, we're grinding. Alright, so I'll see you after Nationals.